Alright. Okay, so as our warm-up tonight, I have two columns on the board. Okay, first column are items. Second column are different people. Alright? So what did we talk about last class?
To take permission.
Take permission. Multiple favors, right? Like we were making requests, right?
Yes.
And we talked about those different structures. Yeah, there was formality, right? There was more formal, less formal, and it kind of depended on which structure you use based on the formality, right? All right, so that's what we're going to do in our warm-up tonight. You're going to create 5 different sentences, okay? And I want you to choose one item from this list, one item from this list, and you're going to make a request out of it. So for example, let's say I want to borrow a credit card from a parent, from a stranger. I want to say credit card from a parent. How would you make that request? Golly, let's say you wanted to borrow your parent's credit card.
Can I borrow your credit card, please, Dad?
Please, Dad. Good. What's another way, Hamza?
I was wondering if I could borrow your credit card.
Good. Yeah. So, for example, if it was my mom, I would say, "Can I borrow your credit card?" If it's my dad, very formal. Like, I was wondering if it's okay if I could borrow your credit card, because my dad is very strict.
Should have the same results, so why I will listen?
It's not the same result at all.
Should have the same results, so why I will listen time on spending our words. I was wondering and to say that.
It isn't the same result, though. It depends on the person you're talking to. If I went to my dad and said, "Can I borrow your credit card?" he would say no. Oh my gosh, he'd say no. Hi, come back.
Let's go.
Yes. Yes, go ahead. Conde and Roya. No, maybe your parents, it would be the same. My parents would be very different responses. Because my mom is very easygoing. My dad is really strict. Well, you're lucky then. If both your parents say that's fine, because mine are totally different. You can't? No? Alright. Okay, so but maybe you would have to use from your brothers. Nice. Alright, so I want you to do the same thing that we just practiced, alright? You're going to create 5 sentences. You need to use all 5 items and all 5 people, okay? So like if I combine credit card and parent, those 2 are out. So now I got to choose of the other 4 and the other 4, okay? All right, so go ahead and get out a piece of paper. I want you to write it down because I want to see how well you use the structure, including you, Golly, including you. All right, take out your paper. Conde, are you ready to take the second quiz? Okay. Yeah, so because it's Valentine's Day, you can take it on Friday. Okay? You're welcome. So nice, teacher. See, right there, right? You could say, "I was wondering if I could maybe take the test quiz next class." Okay, but you will take it on Friday. Okay? So, Sunday, you weren't here last class. We practiced with these making requests. And the difference between all of these is the less formal to more formal. Okay? So, what we're doing is you're going to choose a person and you're going to make a request for one of the items on the board. And depending on that person, like for a police officer, maybe it would be more formal versus like a classmate would be less formal. Okay? So we're making 5 different 5 different sentences for 5 different items.
Teacher, but we don't have to use, for example, parent.
Oh no. I was just showing you that if you wanted to use credit card with parent, that means the next sentence you have to choose something different. You can't do 5 sentences about credit cards. You would need to choose a different item and a different person. Thank you.
It's love.
Okay, we'll leave it open a little bit. Are you cold or hot? Are you cold?
I'm sick.
Oh. I'm gonna stand over here. Yes.
We should use the answer to.
Answer?
No.
No, you're just making the request right now. You're just because I want you to practice making those request forms, seeing if maybe you remember those structures without using the book right now.
I didn't know if I should listen. Is it okay if I go in the jacket?
Yeah. Is it okay if I wear your jacket?
For teacher?
Interesting. For a teacher, huh? I would say no. They're my clothes.
For my classmate, I want to.
Yeah, maybe your classmate. I mean, yeah, you can choose any of these. I mean, you could say, can I wear your jacket to a police officer? He'll probably say no, but you can ask. Yeah. Lend. We talked about last class, you weren't here, but when you borrow, I lend, you borrow. So lend means like give. Borrow means to take, okay? But you would say, like, would you lend me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, borrow and lend are always the tricky ones.
There's nowhere for me to stand.
Teacher,
Yes.
these sentences, it has to make a sense.
Oh.
It
What do you
has to make
mean?
sense.
Give me an example.
So, I can't say to a stranger, could I borrow a car?
Yeah, I mean, you can make, as long as it grammatically makes sense, yeah, you can make it kind of be extreme or strange. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like I was telling Miriam, like you can say, can I borrow your jacket to a police officer? He'll probably say no, right? But you can still ask him. Yeah, this is more about the structure. So if you want to create some kind of crazy requests, go for it. Okay, take about a minute to finish.
You have to make 5 sentences.
Mhm. phone, what about?
It
Hmm?
shouldn't be. It's a phone teacher.
It is my phone.
Yes.
What do you mean?
And we are in the class.
Okay.
So the teacher should take a phone.
Have you finished your sentences, Golly? Have you finished?
Just 2 sentences.
2 sentences. All right. At least give me one more. At least
One
give
more.
me at least majority. I want 5, but please give me at least 3. At least 3.
I should write.
So much effort. So much effort. So difficult. I was wondering if I could use something. All right, let's see what everyone came up with. Yusuf.
Yeah.
Hello. All right. What pairing did you make?
Car asking a policeman.
Okay, car, police officer. What did you say?
I was wondering if it is possible to remove my car from him.
Remove my car. So you would say move. Just move. I was wondering if I can move my car. Okay, good. I like how you kind of change it up a bit. All right, Miriam, what pairing did you make?
Is it okay if I wear your jacket?
Okay,
Classmate.
classmate.
I
Good.
said,
Not the teacher. Shiva.
I was wondering if I can borrow your credit card.
Okay, who did you ask? Parents. Nice. Hamza.
Yes. Camera.
Yes, camera and
Camera and stranger.
stranger. So what did you say?
Is it okay if I use your camera to take professional pictures?
To take professional pictures. Nice. Good. Salma.
Would you mind if you lent me your? Is it okay if I make a quick cell phone by your phone?
Is it okay if I make
Quick.
a quick? What did you say? I didn't hear the word.
Quick call.
Quick call.
Quick
cell
Okay. I just didn't hear it. You're not wrong. I didn't hear it. Yeah. So just use a louder voice because sometimes it's hard to hear. So who did you ask?
Stranger.
Stranger. Good. Golly.
I was wondering if I could use your phone, teacher.
Use my phone?
Yes, teacher.
No. I cannot use my phone. Never ask me. Always no. If it's an emergency, yes. If it's an emergency, maybe. If it's an emergency, maybe you can use my phone. Really?
Yes.
You have a Facebook emergency? Yeah, gotta get on there? Okay. Gary, what did you say?
We have stranger in phone.
Phone, okay?
Do you mind if I use your phone for a second?
Good. Do it for a second. Good.
Second.
Roya?
Do you mind if you lend me your car?
Good. Would you mind if you lend me your car? Hamla?
Camera.
Mhm.
Teacher.
Okay.
Is it okay if I can borrow your camera?
Good. Khadija?
Jacket to classmate.
Okay.
Would you mind if you lend me your jacket?
Would you mind if you lent me?
Your jacket.
Good. Remember that past. All right. And Pandit.
Would you lend me your phone for a minute, please?
Okay. To who?
Phone to classmate.
Classmate. Good. Excellent job. All right. You're welcome. All right. Go ahead and turn to page 19 in your book. 19. Page 19. Looking at word power number 8. 19. Numbers, Miriam, numbers. Alright, so we're on page 19. Number 8, collocations. What are collocations?
Comment you
Huh?
It's the same in France when you live with someone, when you share with someone the same apartment.
Collocation is
No.
paired word.
Paired, yeah. So basically, in English, when we talk about collocations, it means words that are usually paired together. So like a verb and a noun that are usually paired together. Okay? For example, if you look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words that are related to like requests and favors. So we have a gift, an apology, a phone call, etc. On the left-hand side, you have words that are usually paired with these nouns, okay? But there's, bless you, but there's one word that does not pair with this noun. For example, look at number 1, you have a gift. They have do, receive, give, and accept. Which word is crossed out in this list? Do, right?
Yeah.
Usually you do not do a gift,
Yeah.
right? You can receive a gift, you can give a gift, and you can accept the gift. So, accept is similar to receive, right? So, for example, if I give you my pen and you say, "Oh, thank you, teacher," and you take it, you are accepting the pen. Okay? Teamwork, I like that. All right? So what I'd like you to do individually is numbers 2 through 7. Do the same thing, okay? Look at the word on the right-hand side and choose the one word that is not a collocation. Oh. Who knows? Not Owie. Oh. Oh. For example, I lend 100 dirham to Hamza. Okay? Hamza now owes me 100 dirham. He owes me 100 dirham. After he gives me the 100 dirham, he no longer owes me money.
It's like a debt.
It's like a debt. It's like a debt. When you owe somebody something, you need to give them something. I owe you money. I owe you clothing. Yeah, if I need to give you something, I owe you. Yeah, like let's say my phone is ringing and I don't want to talk to them. I hit the X button. I decline. Kind of like decline. Also, you can just say no. Like
No, I can't.
yeah, no, I can't. Like, do you want to go to the movies with me? No, I can't. I'm declining. Saying no.
Refuse.
Salma, are you done? You guys done? Salma, Khadija, Chifa, you guys done? Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and check to see, make sure that you guys chose the right ones to delete. So number 2, an apology. What is the word that does not belong? Do? Good. Yeah, you do not do an apology. You can owe, right? Like I said, owe is you need to give something. You need to make an apology to someone. You owe an apology. You can offer and you can accept. Number 3, Hamza.
Return.
Do.
Which one does not belong? Do.
Do.
You can return a phone call, right? Someone calls you, you miss it, you return, okay? You can return, you can make, and you can receive a phone call. Number 4, Miriam.
A favor.
No, it's me.
Decline it! Decline it! Decline it! We're just nice, good job. All right, 4, Miriam. Which word does not belong?
Return.
Make.
What?
You can say make a favor.
No, you cannot make a favor because you cannot.
Yes.
Me, I can't make it.
No, you
No, we
cannot.
We can say I can make a favor. No.
No, see that's the point of these collocations, right? You can say return a favor, you can do a favor for someone, you can ask for a favor, but in English we do not say make a favor. Okay, so that is not a collocation. Make. Alright, 5. Pundit.
Turn down.
Turn down.
5.
Turn
Offer.
down.
Offer. Offer.
What?
You can receive an invitation. You can accept an invitation. You can turn down an invitation. Offer, you don't really,
Yes,
it's
you
not,
can offer an invitation.
but you make an invitation.
You can give to someone an invitation.
That's what you do. When you give, you make an invitation. But you don't offer, right? Offer means usually when you're making an offer, you offer somebody an item or you offer them a service, but you don't offer them a invitation. You either make it or you don't make it. Okay? Number 6, Barry.
Offer.
Good. Another offer, right? You can accept a request, you can make a request, you can decline a request, but you cannot offer a request. Very similar to the invitation. And last one, 7, Gali.
Return.
No.
Do.
Do. You can receive a compliment. You can return the compliment. Hi, Sarah. You can give a compliment, but you do not do a compliment. Okay? So with collocations, the thing about collocations is it just takes time and practice, right? Because it's just the way that these words are paired together. And sometimes, like when you said make, you're like, but doesn't that work? It's just not a collocation. It's not a pair. All right. So what I'd like you to do is in part B, you're going to work with a partner. They have 3 questions already written about using these collocations in a request. Or not a request, excuse me, just a question. What I'd like you to do with your partner is try to think of 2 more questions using the collocations. I have some ideas, suggestions up here. Okay? So, Miriam, what is the first question that they ask in the book?
When was the last time you received a gift from someone? What was it?
Okay, so what is the collocation in that sentence?
Receive the gift.
Received a gift. Number 2, Gali, can you read the sentence for me? What is the collocation?
Accept.
Accepted an apology. Number 3, Yusuf, can you read that sentence?
Do you usually return phone calls that you miss? Why? Or why not?
Okay, what is the collocation? Return phone calls. Good. So what you're going to do with your partner is you're going to create 2 more similar questions, okay? Using different collocations, so don't use gift, don't use apology, and don't use phone call. All right, I want you to choose something different, like favor, invitation, request, or compliment. And you can use these as some ideas, okay? So, Roya and Paula, Chifa, Salma, Khadija, Gali, Sarah, Yusuf, Hamza, Konde, Miriam, and Gary.
We use the sentences. How often, for example?
Yeah, these are some ideas. So maybe, for example, if I was writing one, I could say, how often do you give compliments to people? How often do you give compliments to people? Every day, every hour. You're a mess. Okay. So Sarah, we were talking about collocations, which is when you pair words together. And that there are some words that are naturally paired together and some that are not. So for example, if you're looking here, we were talking about how you can receive a gift, you can give a gift, you can accept a gift, but you can't do a gift. Okay? And you can check with them about the other answers. We just finished that. Are you okay? Are you alright? Alright. Why are you on your phone?
Because teacher it's a phone.
I know it's a phone, but you need to be working together on these 2 questions, alright?
The first one. I've done the first one, like I've done the...
Work together, work together.
How often do you receive a phone call?
Okay.
Or we can say
Yes. Okay, so they both are used with nouns, right? Like the dog, a dog, the sky, the weather. So usually when you use a, it's not specific. Like there was a dog on the street. It's not a specific dog, it's just a dog. The is usually more specific. What did you see the other day? Oh, I saw the girl that I was telling you about. It's a specific girl. So that's usually the difference. Is more unspecific, specific. The is specific. And so a and an are the same, not specific, but okay. After you finish creating those 2 questions with your partner, actually go through these questions with your partner, asking and answering. Okay. So when was the last time you received a gift from someone? What was it? Discuss these questions with your partner, all right? Because you're going to report back to me on their answers, all right? You're like, it's been a while.
When was the last time you received a gift from someone?
Oh, good. That's an interesting question. I like that one. Okay.
What would you say if someone returned the cover?
What would you say if someone returned a favor? A favor.
Like if it was someone
Yeah, I'm checking this position. Returns. Yeah, 2 years. That's good. I just checked. I didn't know if it was 4 you or 3 you. I think it's 2 years. Yes. Yes. Okay, good. So, for this one, what would you say is the one we're gonna use the past tense? Okay, so gauge your when you say call, like phone call? So you would say, what would you say if you call someone and he declined your call? Just your call. And like I was telling Yusuf, what would you say if you called past tense?
How often do you receive compliments?
How often do you receive? How often do you receive compliments in a week? Ooh, that's a good question. Not often, I know, right? Like never. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Why do you think
How often do you learn to fix it today?
that's a good one?
What would you say if you wanted to make an excuse?
What would you say if you wanted to make an excuse? Okay.
When was the last time you did it?
Ooh. Okay, I know what you mean. Play the role of innocent. Yeah. That's so formal. Play the role of innocent. How would you phrase it again? When was the last time you... So we wouldn't say the role of innocent. We would just say, when was the last time you played innocent? Played innocent, not the role. Played innocent. Okay, so practice these advanced and answer these questions with each other. All right. So let me hear some of the questions and answers that you asked each other. Let's start with Chifa and Salma. What was one question that you guys asked each other?
Have you ever declined a request?
Okay, what was your answer?
Me, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I declined many times.
Yes. I have declined.
Yeah, it depends on the person and what they ask, but for sure.
Situation.
Mm-hmm. Khadija and Gali, what was one of the questions that you asked each other?
How do you feel if you receive a compliment?
Oh, that's a good one. Khadija, how do you feel? Yes, happy. Not a trick question, right? Yeah, you feel it feels good, right? It feels nice. Gali, how do you feel if you receive a compliment?
It's normal.
It's normal. You just received so many compliments. You're like,
Habit.
another compliment. Another compliment. Stop. Too many. Too many compliments. Alright, Miriam and Barry, what was one question that you asked?
How would you feel if you receive an invitation from a stranger?
Ooh, good question. And what did you say, Barry?
The girl.
Ask more question about the invitation, like where,
Yeah.
what would
It
you
is a girl.
do there?
Uh-huh.
There is a girl.
Ah, ouais.
If it was a girl,
Ah, oui.
okay.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay. And Fonda and Roya?
What would you say if I ask you for a favor?
Okay.
Facebook, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe depends on the favor. Depends on the favor. Yusuf and Sarah.
What would you say if someone gave you a compliment? What would you say if someone gave you a compliment?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, right? Well, thank you. Or if you're golly, not again. Stop the compliments. All right, Hamza and Monday.
When was, how often do you log into Facebook per day?
One time per.
One, good for you. He asked, how often do you log into Facebook per day? I know, right? It depends. Yeah. If you're like bored or you're just like, I'm going on Facebook,
Well,
right?
just to check for 2 minutes or 2 seconds, just to see you.
Are you only on there for 2 seconds though?
Yes, I want. I say I want to stay. Just I want. For
Right?
2 seconds. And
I know. I always say, oh, just a minute. 30 minutes later, I'm still scrolling through the timeline, right? All right, good. All right, everyone, close your books. Close your books. Hey. All right. I have 7 pieces of paper with the 7 items. 7 items on it from the book, right? Phone call, gift, apology, and all that. When I call on you, I'm going to give you one of the items, and I want you to make a sentence using one of the collocations that we talked about in the book. All right? Let's start off with Gali, an apology.
I usually accept apologies.
You usually don't accept apologies?
No, I usually accept.
You usually accept. I was like, man, you're tough. All right, so Gali usually accepts apologies. Accepts apologies. Hamza, phone call.
I usually answer phone calls.
Usually answer phone calls. Good. Sarah, an invitation.
I usually accept.
Okay, usually accept invitations. All right. Salma, request.
Nothing I usually accept.
I usually ask for requests.
Okay. All right. No more usually. Okay? No more usually. All right. I think like every single sentence has been usually. So we're gonna use a different structure. Yusuf, a compliment.
I never received a compliment.
Oh,
For me.
so sad. Poor Yusuf. Oh. Roya, a gift.
I never receive a gift.
On Valentine's Day, right?
I often receive.
I often receive gifts. Miriam, an apology.
I accept.
You accept?
Yes.
Every time?
Yes.
You're a nice person. I don't always accept apologies. Depends on the person.
Depending on the person.
Huh?
Depending on the person.
Why? Especially if the person did something. Okay, I do not accept an apology if the apology is insincere.
Yes.
Insincere, right? So, like, let's say someone does something really bad and they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm sorry. Insincere. Insincere.
What do you mean?
Not honest.
Honest.
No sense.
So when we talk about apologies, a sincere apology.
It was obliged to
It's-
say.
huh?
Like
Say again?
it was obliged to say sorry.
Yeah, like if you, like for example, you have a small child and he hits another kid and you say, you know, make an apology. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. right? It's very insincere. It's not honest. But a sincere apology, I will accept. Conde, a request.
I don't know how many times I said okay, I make a request.
You don't know how many times you
I
make a request?
request per day.
Per day. Okay, good. You don't know how many times you make a request per day. Shifa, a gift.
I've never received this.
Ever? Ever in your life you've never received a gift? Sometimes receive a gift. Yusuf, an apology.
I don't accept insincere apology.
Perfect. I don't accept insincere apologies. Barry, a favor.
I like doing a favor to someone.
Can you do a favor?
Make
Make your favor. Make a favor to someone.
Can you make a favor?
No.
Accept.
Make no.
Oh, tu
I didn't do a favor.
C'est pas those
You can do a
You
favor.
can do a favor, teacher. Yes.
I was tricking you. It's alright. You gotta be confident in your response. Yes, teacher. I can do a favor. Alright? Let's see here. About Hamza, compliment.
Can you give me a compliment?
Yes, you are a very good student. You're welcome.
I accept
Good, you accept my compliment. Khala, phone call.
I don't know what that means. Phone call.
You don't know phone call?
No,
What's a
no, just to combine them.
Oh, just so use it with the collocation.
Decline.
You keep wanting to
I
decline.
like decline so
I know she likes to decline.
Return.
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 Okay, how would you use that in a sentence?
I usually
Answer.
my calls.
Okay. For me, if I had to return a phone call, I always return phone calls at the end of the day. I don't have time during the day, so I always return phone calls at the end of the day. And Conde, how about a request? No, I already gave you a request. A favor. See how you're scanning these answers.
It's make me happy when someone make me don't do
It makes me happy when someone
do a favor for me. Done.
someone does a favor for me.
Someone does a favor for me.
Good. It makes me happy when someone does a favor for me. And let's see, Golly, an invitation.
Always accept.
Turn down.
Sometimes I turn down some invitations.
Good. Why would you turn down an invitation?
I'm tired.
Okay, I'm tired. I'm busy. Maybe it's just not interesting, right?
Maybe there are some people there that I don't go.
Right? If someone invites you to a party and you're like, "Who's gonna go?" and they tell you who's going, and you're like, "Never mind."
Maybe
I don't want to.
you want to make people boring or something.
Yeah, my friend, she is single, and she will only go to parties if there are single men at the parties. So if it's only women or it's like married couples, she turns down the invitation. So if there's only single men, she will go to the party. She's very particular. All right, good.
Teacher.
Huh?
I didn't do it.
I accept all invitations, but if there are single men there, I will say yes more often. Okay? So, so what I'd like you to do now, let's see, how many people have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay. So for the rest of class, we are actually going to get started on our Othello project for this class. All right?
Yeah.
What's that face? What's wrong then. Oh, Miriam, you're killing me. Killing me. Ah. All right, remember we read Act 1, we read Act 2. So for your writing and speaking assessment in this class, in your group, you are going to rewrite one scene from Act 1 or Act 2. Okay? I know, you've been gone for a while, Gali. So let me write it up here so we can have some visuals. Othello project. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to get into your group. I'm going to put you in groups. Okay? Get into your group. You're going to choose one scene from Act 1.
Teacher, how many people in one group?
6.
6.
Okay? You're going to choose a new setting. What is a setting?
Choose a new city.
What is a setting? What is the setting of Othello right now?
Venice.
Venice?
Cyprus.
Cyprus, good. And what time? In the past, right? Like 1600s is when Shakespeare wrote this play, okay? So you're going to choose a new setting. That means you're choosing a new time, a new location, okay? And you're going to choose new character names, okay? And you will decide how you will divide the work, okay? Divide the work. Okay. So let me explain again for Gali and maybe people who didn't understand before. So this is your speaking and your writing assessments for the class, okay? Because we do not have a story quiz in the class. This is the project for the class, all right? In your group, you will choose one scene. For example, maybe you choose Act 2, Scene 1, okay? You're going to choose a new setting. For example, in my other classes, they chose 2018 Los Angeles. I had another group choose the future and Morocco. I had another group choose Germany, okay? But you're going to choose a new setting, new time and location. It needs to be more modern, okay? And you're going to choose different character names to match your setting. For example, Othello, Desdemona, Brabantio, no one has these names today, right? They're very old names. So you would change the names.
And the topic about what?
The topic, okay. So you are updating, you're rewriting the scene. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the same actions from the scene, same plot, but you're updating, you're changing the information, okay? Depending on your new location and time. So, like for example, everybody look at get out your story, and look at page 14 of the story. So page 14, we have Act 2, Scene 2. We have Othello. Yusuf, can you read Othello's first part here where he says, "Good Michael"?
Scene 2.
Yeah, "Good Michael," page 14.
Good Michael, you will be chief of the guards tonight. Cyprus is safe and it will be a happy night for everyone. Some people will drink too much. Make sure there is no fighting.
Okay, stop. So this is very old style English, right? People don't talk like this anymore. So if I wanted to change this, let's say I would say, for example, what's up, Michael? You're going to be in charge of everyone tonight. Let's say I change it to Los Angeles, right? Los Angeles is good and it's time to have a party. People are going to get really drunk. So you need to watch out. Okay? So you're changing it, huh?
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro. Exactly, right? You're changing it. So you're going to use more modern English. One of my other classes, they're having it as teenagers, right, in a high school. So they're using a lot of informal slang in their language. Yeah, it's like, yeah, like you said, yeah, cool, bro, cool story. You know, you're changing the language, all right? But it just depends on your new time and location, right?
You can change the story.
So the story, the main idea is gonna stay the same, right? So like, for example,
Wars. We can.
so like for example, if there's a war with the Turks, but let's say it's now modern day, there's no war with the Turks. So for example, I had a class that they decided to make it in Los Angeles, and there's gonna be between two gangs. It's a drug war between two gangs. So you're going to have similar action, similar plot, but you're making it more modern. You're updating it.
This is
Okay?
you can do like football player.
Yeah.
Otelo is the main player to fight with other team.
Yeah, to compete, right? So instead of it being a war, it's a sports competition. And maybe Desdemona is his girlfriend who he wants to get married, but her brother is the goalie for the other team, right? So it's similar ideas, but you're updating it because we don't have this war between Italy and the Turks, and that's history, right? You're updating this as a more modern audience. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'd like to do, excuse me, is I'm going to give you a number. Remember your number. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Your number 1, raise your hand. Number ones, number ones, number ones. You're in a group together. Number 2s, you're in a group together. All right? So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and move your desk to your group. Number 1 over here. Number 2 over here. Okay? So bring your story, bring your paper, and move your desks over to meet with your group. Let's go. Number 1s, you're on this side of the room. Number 2s, you're on this side of the room. Okay, so Paula, you're going to be on this side. Salma's going over. Alright, so you should move your desks over so you can actually talk to your group, okay? So these are the 3 things that you have to finish by the end of class, okay? With your group, you need to decide what scene you're going to do. You're going to choose your new setting, and you're going to decide how you will divide the work, okay? So that means like maybe, let's say you can do it by you assign a character. Assign a character to each student. For example, that would mean, Conde, you rewrite Othello. Salma, you rewrite Desdemona. Gali, you rewrite Rodrigo. Okay, so you can do it that way, or you can just do by page number. Assign a page. So that means like Salma, you would do page 14, Conde page 15, Gali page 16. Okay? So you decide what is the most fair way to do the work. Okay? Also, on a piece of paper, if you can write down the names of your group members and then give that to me so that I can keep track of who is in each group. So excited, you said. Yeah. Yes. Energy.
Where is the image?
We stop.
go ahead and start talking to your group. Yeah, that's okay. It's just so, like, in the future, if, you know, the next class, it's like, who is in my group? I now have a list of who is in the group.
So,
Oh, also, there is a rule. You cannot choose Act 2, the really short one. You have to have the same, you have to have a minimum, okay, you cannot choose Act 1, Scene 2, because there's only 5 characters in that scene. So you have 6 people in your group, you have to have a minimum of 6 characters. So Act 1, Scene 2, off limits.
I am the official.
Miriam. Miriam's coming back.
Official identity.
Okay, you understand? Okay.
c'est bon.
Stop.
I know. Which is funny though, because this afternoon the sun was really warm, and now the sun's gone. I know, he's the only guy in this group. Maybe you should play Desdemona. I know, exactly. Do like a gender exchange, right? Okay. As long as it's from Act 1 and Act 2, but you cannot do Act 1, Scene 2. Because that's only 5 characters. And you for example, if you choose one that has like a messenger in it, in my other class, one of the students changed the messenger into like a text message on a phone. So it depends on how you want to do it with your setting.
You can work for Act 1, Scene 1.
Yes, you can do Act 1, Scene 1. You just can't do Act 1, Scene 2. Or Act. Oh, wait. Act 1, Scene 1. How many characters is in that one? 3. So you can't do that. You have 6 people.
Each one should
Yeah, so each, because it's gonna be writing and speaking. So each person needs to have a role. I know, everyone wants to choose the short scenes, right? But you can't. Alright, so now that you have 6 people, scene 1 and scene 2 are out, right? Because there's not enough characters.
We choose
You can do the same. Yeah, it's okay because you're going to be changing your own topic, right? Just to let you know, you only have about 15 minutes left before the end of class, so you want to make sure that you have this figured out, okay? Okay, so you have your scene. How are you going to divide the work? Are you going to do it by character or by page? By character? So each person will be in charge of different characters. There's no what? So which scene are you doing? Scene 1? Okay. Act 2, scene 1. Okay. Yeah, so if there's not enough, then you would do it by character, right? Okay, so you'll do it by character.
I choose Emilia.
Emilia, nice.
Sentence 1, sentence 2. Do you know how you would divide the work? Are you going to do it by character or by page? What are you going to do? علاش غادي يدوك Yeah, if you're Amelia, then you should probably do 2 characters because there's not a lot. But if you have maybe like Iago has a lot of talking. Short pieces, right? Someone who can choose.
I can vote for names.
Someone should choose 2 characters.
Right, so it depends on how much dialogue for each character. Iago usually has a lot of dialogue, so that should just be 1 person. But if it's like first officer, second officer, this the more it should combine characters.
She will take care how many
We have 9 characters. We have 2 officials and one tango, first officer, second officer. Let me see. We have one tango, first officer.
First official.
Second officer. Pacho and Emilia, Iago and Rodrigo. We can meet the two officials in the same place.
Yeah.
So, oui. Ah, you come from the community?
No.
Yeah, oui. Ah, il y a un autre. Il y a un autre avec les deux officiers. Pas souvent les mêmes. T'as compté les deux officiers. T'as compté Emilia. Avec les deux, c'est vrai. Il y a Emilia, il y a Dembélé, il y a Montano, et seconde, Cassio, Emilia, Rodrigo et Otego. Cassio, le signal, So,
What is the
You're working on this over a couple of classes, so I want you to start and bring what you have. It doesn't have to be finished in the next class. We're not, you're bringing what you have, so you're starting on your rewriting.
So, this thing doesn't have to finish.
Yeah, it's not finished now. No. Right now, by the end of this class, I want you to decide your new setting and how you're doing the characters. Okay? For homework, I want you to each start working on your characters. It doesn't have to be finished, but I want you to start. Yeah, you can. That's the only way that we're going to do this. Here's the thing. You're going to do it as homework, and then you're going to bring it to class. In class is when you share with each other, and you combine all of your work together. But if we have to do both the writing and the sharing, we'll never finish. So for homework, you do the writing, and then you bring it to class, where you meet as a group and say, okay, here is my rewrite for Othello, here's my rewrite for Rodrigo, we need to combine them now. Exactly. So you have to decide as a group, what is this new setting? What is this new story? So that's why it's important that you as a group agree, like, what's the new story? How are you going to do a rewrite if you don't know the new story, right? Yeah, what will happen, right? Okay, so that's why you need to discuss as a group.
We can, for example,
If you want to, yeah, if it makes it better for, like, to make it equal work, yeah, you can change it and divide it between the person. That's fine. Beautiful Desdemona.
very great problem teacher.
I noticed. Problem student over here.
No. famous player like Neymar.
What?
Neymar
Neymar.
came back to Barcelona.
ولكن
The manager of Barcelona. Neymar that tries to get Neymar in troubles with players of Barcelona Barcelona.
Neymar combat with Barcelona. Donc moi j'avais pensé comment tu disais comment moi j'avais pensé, genre c'est comme si c'est le capitaine de l'équipe. Le capitaine de l'équipe il a une poussée dans les joueurs et dans les cheerleaders. Genre les filles sont là qui encouragent l'équipe. Maintenant là-bas il y a des démons. Il y a Cassio qui est le joueur, il y a Moussa qui est le joueur, donc il y a le manager qui est par exemple le père, l'entraîneur qui est le père des Mona, et tu vois, donc des trucs comme ça. Maintenant on doit trouver les caractères, genre c'est comme ça.
Voilà, pour être démocratique,
Non, qu'est-ce qu'elle est là?
Il y a un film.
Il y a un débat entre deux acteurs.
Tu t'avais pris une
So do you guys have your new setting yet? New setting? Do you have the new setting? Time, location?
Yes, the same Casablanca.
Nice, I like that. Something different. Good. Like that. Do you guys have your setting? I hear yes and no.
We are working.
Nice. Alright, I want to make a quick announcement because we only have about like 2 minutes before the bell rings. Khadijah, you listening? Alright, so I changed the homework, alright, because it sounds like the groups maybe need some more time to really figure out about the new setting and location and stuff. So we're going to have another workshop on Friday. We're going to meet with our groups and you guys are going to finish deciding on this information. And then over the weekend, you will start doing it, okay? So for tonight's homework, if you can do page 16, this is about collocations in the workbook, all right? And just to remind you, for the assessments, your speaking assessment is 20%, your writing is 15%, and your reading is 10%. So your speaking and writing is with this Othello project, and your summaries are the reading, okay? So this is just to remind you where the grade is gonna come from on this, all right? So next class, we will finish up with this workshop, and then you will start the rewrite over the weekend, not tonight.
C'est comment
Final exam,
quand je fais
which
ce
day?
oui, ce que je propose.
Final exam in this class.
Si il y a beaucoup comme elle est arrivée, on les prend bien.
Final exam is March 9th. March 9th. March 9th. 9th. March 7th, we'll have a review. And March 9th, we'll have Yeah, I know we don't have a lot of time. It's soon. Yeah. All right. Have a good evening, and I'll see you on Friday.